Ms Legalista here, aka Attorney Sheila. In this video, we're going to be going back to fitness influencer. I hesitate because I don't know whether I should call her former fitness influencer. I think maybe she's still a fitness influencer, even if she doesn't see herself that way. I think some people may still see her as kind of leading a healthy and fit lifestyle. We're going to break down Brittany Dawn a little, okay? I'm not going back over her full history, but there was the lawsuit that was out there that was recently settled. I want to talk about that a little bit, but I want to also focus on talking about a pathway forward, the changes that she's made in her life, talk about second chances with people who have been accused of fraud or scamming other people. Let's talk about going forward. Yeah. All right, thanks for joining. And let's see if I can pull up what I need to pull up, because even though I have everything here on my computer, normally I already have things added here and I didn't do that. So I am pulling up the lawsuit, but of course it opened up right where I was last looking at it because I didn't really want to go through the whole thing. I have another video that talks about the lawsuit and really breaks everything down. But I do want to hit on just a few things here because I do think it is relevant when we're talking about second chances and moving forward. So Brittany Dawn still is, maybe, I don't know, ask her if she still considers herself to be a fitness influencer. I think she's sort of said she's walked away from that life a little bit. But she had been sued in Dallas County, Texas, the state of Texas, acting by and through the Attorney General for deceptive trade practices. And basically what they were saying was that she was selling products. She was selling fitness plans, health plans, whatever you want to call it. And it says here, defendants or online, specifically defendants online fitness packages offered nutritional assessments, and depending on the plan purchased, daily or weekly email training and one-on-one coaching. It talks about the prices there. You can see $92 for a one-time macro consult and $300 for 3 months of personalized macros, trainings, and coachings. However, the online nutrition and fitness plans delivered to consumers were not individualized. And then she maybe didn't do some of these other things. So that's basically what she was being accused of in this. And some people, of course, were very upset about that. And let me just go back to me here for a second. Okay, so now you have a bit of history about that. I actually did not find out about her until the products that she was selling, until some of that hit the news. That was when I started to hear about her. And I work out and I look at online videos and those sorts of things. But I had never heard of her until then. The main thing that sort of got people upset was that they felt like a lot of the responses that she sometimes gave, they were buying this product, but they weren't very individualized. They felt like it was just, generalized statements of encouragement and support and just sort of very basic. And I think they were sort of let down. There were instances where people were saying that they had not gotten what they had ordered, or they just had not received this specialized program that was supposed to be based on what their needs were. So that's pretty much what went down with that. So where are we now? Well, it's being reported that there is a settlement in place and that the parties have come to some sort of agreement. Now, remember, the state of Texas was suing her for, I think it was up to $1 million plus court costs and something like that. So hopefully they have come to an agreement. Maybe we will find out exactly what that is in the next few weeks when things are wrapped up. I think it said maybe the end of this month or end of next month, they're supposed to finalize the agreement. So we will see how that goes. I think actually I'm a person who feels like when two parties are able to come to an agreement after going through mediation or arbitration, that can be a good thing. It just depends if they were both, in agreement on what the terms of that settlement looks like, then I say yay. Because think about it. Otherwise, they got to be in court. They got to be dragging this thing out. They got to be spending a whole lot of money. So if they can come to an agreement outside of that, then that is a good thing. So I want to next talk about this sort of pathway forward with her. She had posted some things on her Instagram stories a while back. And I'm pretty sure that given everything that was going on with the lawsuit, that she was probably feeling a certain kind of way. And I don't mean mean or nasty or anything like that, but you can feel very down when nobody has anything good to say about you, or you feel like nobody has anything good to say about you. I don't know her. I didn't buy any of the products, but it sounds to me like maybe she got in a little over her head. I don't know, but that's just sort of the sense that I get, that, she was trying to put out this product and maybe she didn't do it the way she knew she should have. And then she got in over her head and it was less specific coaching and information that she was providing and more generalized. And it's hard to come back from that, especially when everything's so public. And I've said this before, we all have baggage. We all have baggage. We all have baggage. Open up that closet. We all have baggage. It's just that some people's baggage is out there in the public for the world to see. And most of us like to keep our baggage in the closet, right? Where when things go wrong, maybe, we're the only ones, or our friends or our families, that know about it. When it is public, when it's this big public failure or demise or fall, people can sometimes reach out and attack you. Now, in this case, people were accusing her of a lot of things. In the lawsuit, these are allegations. They've not yet been proven. And so you have to wait until you hear everything when it goes to trial. Now, in this case, like I said before, there's been a settlement. But let's go to her stories. Oh, look, and here's the picture that I had used before. And I'm probably going to show this earlier in this video, not just now, but this is what it was. We were looking at the pictures, and I'm talking, when I say we in general. We're looking at the picture saying, hey, this is somebody who looks like she got healthy and fit. She had a story behind it. She was saying, buy my plan. And it didn't, the plan didn't seem like it was an unrealistic amount of money. Like it wasn't thousands of dollars. It seemed to kind of make sense. It was, I think it was pretty reasonable. And so you have all of this here. People are looking at the pictures on Instagram. She still got over 400,000 followers on Instagram. So there are some people who still feel a connection to her. I think that says a lot about who she is. And even though, there was the lawsuit and there were lots of accusations, and there were likely some things that she got wrong. Okay, there were likely some things that she got wrong. I think that when you go to someone's account and you still see years later that people are still following her, there is a reason that people are still following her. Some of these people still believe in her. And that says something about the fact that they still believe that there is good inside of her, that there is good moral character there. Otherwise, you would have seen a drop off. You would just see like harassment every day, and harassment every day probably would lead to her to shut everything down. That doesn't appear to be the case. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click on, that's the first slide. Okay, let me go ahead and click on the next one, because this is what she's actually talking about here. And I want to talk a little bit more about this, because like I said, when there is a public failure, when you're someone who's being accused of committing fraud or being deceptive or engaging in a scam personally, remember, this was her product. This is not where she had a collaboration with someone. There are tons of those out there where people just collaborate with other people only to find out that they did something wrong, okay? In this case, this was her product, and so it falls very heavily on her. She says, I refuse to sit in silence. There is a wildfire happening on social media, and it's happening fast. This was 12 weeks ago. Cyberbullying, cyberstalking, cyber harassment. So these sorts of things. She goes in the next paragraph, and I don't want to talk about that too much because I don't want to get the video flagged by YouTube. If you are someone in legislation Congress or any government position that would be willing to give me 5 minutes to share my story with you, I would love to connect with you. And one of the things that she did was she talked about what was going on in other countries and how other countries take more action around this. We don't have to say these things. So this is what she's saying in the first one. She's just giving us some highlights around what she's already been through and the fact that she would like to see a little bit more government intervention on this. Let me see if I can go to the next slide here. To everyone that thinks I'm trying to hide the fact that I'm going through a lawsuit, I'm not. I even posted a YouTube video mentioning it last week. It's actually darn near impossible to hide when it's plastered all over GMA and news stories, LOL. And she's right. You can't escape it. So it's not like she's trying to hide it. She just may be choosing not to talk about it. She can talk about other things. There's so much going on in the world. This person goes, how is it slander if it's true? You did have issues with your fitness business and there is a current case on you. It might be the timing. Okay, so they're getting into a little bit more there. I love watching your content. It's a great story. I would like to highlight a sentence you said, and this was her response. And it was about her not responding. It was the first thing I thought too. You know, the first thing your attorney is going to tell you is don't respond. Don't respond to this stuff. And actually, let me pull up this sort of setting here. Don't respond. You know, people are going to say things. I mean, just from a legal, let's put aside the legal aspect of it, okay? In terms of don't say anything because we're going to court and it might be used against you. You never know. Forget that part of it. But do you really want to be in a position where every day when you wake up, you feel like you're having to respond to other people's comments about you? They don't know you, especially if they weren't people who purchased the product or service. So then it's even doubly hard to have a conversation with them. Do you want this in your headspace every day? You know, there's going to come a day when this is going to be your backstory, your history, right? And the quicker you can get there, the better for your mental sanity, right? You don't want to have to be thinking about this 24 hours a day. So no, I totally get it that you are not talking about this day in and day out. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to wake up and feel like, you know, I'm going to talk about this with my peeps every single day. We're just going to do lives. I'm going to be on Instagram. No, people, just imagine for a second what that would do to a person. You just, you know, would never feel like you're getting to the point where you're healing. And part of healing includes taking responsibility and accountability for what happens too. So I'm not saying she should get off the hook or something like that by not talking about it. I'm saying there is a process where a person says to themselves, hey, you know, I did wrong. I messed up here. I didn't get this right, you know. And I'm a little older, so it's easier for me to get there faster probably than it is for people who are a little bit younger. I'm just like, you know, I'm done. I mess up every day, all day. It's an ongoing thing. I'm a work in progress is what I tell people. Now let me see if I can go to, so that was, yeah, I think that's the last one. Those are the only ones that I really wanted to talk about. But so let's talk about where she is now. Is she moving forward? And it does appear like, you know, she got married. She's doing some things. She's moving forward. Second chances. It is okay for people to fall and for them to say, you know what, I'm going to turn over a new leaf here. And it is okay for us to either accept that or not. Okay. In this case, and this is just me talking, I'm glad to see her moving on with her life. I'm glad to see her saying she's trying to focus on doing some good things in her life, whatever that choice is for her. Now, some people, of course, are commenting on the fact that she's now using faith as a way to do that. But a lot of people do that in times of stress, in times of need, in times of challenges. We lean on our faith. That's okay too. To each his or her own, right? But I'm glad to see that she is starting to move forward. And I think by having this settlement in place now, that is going to help also. Look, people can make mistakes. People can do the fraud thing, do the scam thing, mess up, go through whatever it is they need to go through, and then turn over a new leaf. We want to give people second chances. We want people to get back on a pathway so that they can still live a healthy and productive life, Like, there's no reason for us to shoot somebody down forever just because they did something bad at one point in their life, just because they made a choice that maybe wasn't the best choice at that time. So forgiveness is good, right? Forgiveness is good. So that's just sort of breaking that down a little bit, nothing in depth, but just sort of taking a look back at the lawsuit, what was being alleged, understanding that there appears to be a new settlement that's out there, and hoping that she and her family are now able to move forward, hoping that there's some sort of restitution to those who were harmed in the process, and hoping now that everybody can move forward through the pain, through the healing, and have this second chance to go forward. So that's it. That brings you up to speed. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Some of you might not agree with anything that I just said. It might want to give it a thumbs down. You are free to do that also. But if you're interested in following more, then don't forget to subscribe. And peace.